What's up, YouTube? It's Battlescar. I'm going to be upfront and just say that this is going to be a pretty intense video, but I think you should watch it all the way through because the David murder case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez is turning out to be one of the most noteworthy and heinous cases of the entire decade. And I think people are going to be talking about this one for a pretty long time because it is genuinely just that serious. I'm going to talk about all of the fast facts and try and get all the information that we currently have on the David case covered in as quick a time as possible. But you'll also have to forgive me. I usually try to crack some lame jokes in my videos here and there that usually only I find funny. But I need to speak about this one with the right tone of seriousness and respect. Now, I've been waiting to talk about this one for a little bit, actually, since my last video, specifically today, because you'll remember that the preliminary hearing was actually scheduled to be on the 1st of May. But for some reason, I missed this update. I don't know how I dropped the ball on this one. Sorry. But it was actually moved out to the end of May due to the massive, massive volumes of evidence and data that has been collected and is busy being sifted through for the case. And they really aren't kidding here. It's over 40 terabytes of digital data that's been collected as evidence. And of course, that's just digital data. That's not necessarily, that doesn't exclude any of the physical evidence and anything else that's going into this. This is just digital data. It's insane. 40 terabytes of anything is just a tremendous amount of data to collect, sift through, and analyze. It's crazy. Now, if you didn't catch my last video on the David saga, I mentioned that it seems that the reason why the police took so long in the first place to finally arrest David was in order to build a strong, ironclad, airtight case against him. And they really didn't want him getting off on any technicalities or any slip-ups. And with this amount of data, it really seems like that was in fact what they were doing. I also mentioned that I think it was a bit of a poorly kept secret, or it seemed to be a very poorly kept secret, that David was in a relationship with the 13-year-old Celeste. They met when they were 11 years old, and when she was 11 years old, and they were in a relationship where she was obviously underage. But Celeste's family and David close friends seemed to know about it as well, but just kind of kept it under wraps, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what the circumstances there are, but that's also very suspicious behavior. But anyway, well, it turns out that a significant amount of the data that has been collected, of that 40 terabytes, is from David's iPhone and iCloud and includes a significant amount of child pornography and child sexual abuse material. Now, I can't say that I'm surprised that this degenerate evil monster has CP in his possession, but you still can't say that it doesn't just give you the grossest feeling in your stomach. It's so vile, man. But yeah, now there's not yet been any statements about whether this material that they found is of Celeste specifically, or if it includes other minors, but I would honestly not be surprised if it included both. Time will tell, I guess. I have to say, though, I think that this, specifically this CP discovery, I guess, is a massive potential silver bullet in the David case. Now, think about this, right? If we assume that the possession of CP really is all that extensive and also factual, then I don't see how David's defense is going to be able to, well, defend this. What are they going to say? Oh, well, I'm sorry. He was actually holding it for a friend. Or he didn't know that this clearly infant-looking person in the photos or videos or whatever it was in fact underage. Like, no, that's not going to fly. I understand that David has a defense attorney that has done fairly well in high-profile cases like this before, but even if the homicide charges, by some cursed miracle, ends up going nowhere, the prosecution might be able to convict him on this alone, as well as probably other charges as well. And they'll be able to send him away for a long, long time. Importantly, though, the prosecutors have, however, made it very clear that they believe in all of this data that they found a clear motive. Despite a difficult autopsy because of the significant decomposition that was present, they believe that David stabbed Celeste multiple times through the chest after she threatened to expose their relationship. Remember, she was underage, of course. and make the whole thing public, and by doing that, ruin his developing music career. Some of the further evidence that we got was that David ordered items tied to Celeste's killing and gruesome dismemberment under a fake name, including things like a body bag, a burn cage to incinerate evidence, an inflatable pool, which I'll get back to the inflatable pool in just a second, and 2 chainsaws that was used to dismember Celeste's body after the deed was done. Now, the reason why the inflatable pool is important is that the prosecution believes that this pool was used to catch all of the blood during the dismemberment in an attempt to not get blood on David's garage floor. And importantly as well is that the blue plastic from the inflatable pool, there were pieces of this or traces of this found on Celeste's body during the autopsy as well. So now that picture is starting to come together as well. In particular, he also cut off 2 of Celeste's fingers that had his name tattooed on it. Now, I'm not sure what that really accomplishes, because that just kind of makes you look more suspicious. But God, what an evil, evil demon. I mean, this is just the worst kind of acts. It's almost unbelievable to hear.
This morning, prosecutors offering new details about the gruesome death of a 14-year-old girl who they say was killed by the singer David. In court documents filed Wednesday, the prosecution claims David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, met Celeste Rivas Hernandez when she was 11 years old, and they started a sexual relationship in 2023 when she was 13. He was 18. Prosecutors say they obtained text messages that showed a sexual relationship. In one, Rivas Hernandez allegedly texting David, "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." They allege in April of last year, she threatened to expose their relationship and destroy his career. It's alleged that she came to his Hollywood Hills home on April 23rd, where he stabbed her multiple times, just 2 days before his first studio album was set to be released. After the teen's murder, court documents allege David ordered 2 chainsaws, a body bag, a heavy-duty laundry bag, and a blue inflatable pool, all under a fake name. The filing goes on to say David used a chainsaw to dismember her body, including cutting off 2 of her fingers because one of them had a tattoo of his name on it.
A lot of the defenders in David's fan club, and yes, I'm sad to say that there are people who genuinely are still siding with this guy, thinking that he's innocent or has been framed or some other kind of bullshit. But an argument that they bring up a lot is that, well, just because Celeste's body was found in David's Tesla doesn't necessarily mean that he did it. And sure, that certainly is an argument. But also, we have now heard that surveillance footage that was obtained shows that David was the last person to drive the Tesla where her dismembered body was discovered, in that tow yard. So it really does seem that pretty much all of the signs are starting to point to David. Now, given that there are early positive tests for MDMA that was found in Celeste's body, the defense is likely going to try and play some kind of overdose mishap card, which I still think is really stupid, because an overdose doesn't just happen in your natural responses to start dismembering the body. That makes no sense. But anyway, okay, so stranger things have happened, I'm sure, and it is always definitely better to wait for the trial and the evidence to come out before we make our own verdicts. But I will say that I am struggling to imagine a world, given all of the evidence that's come out, where David is not responsible, or at least is very deeply involved. Now, my thoughts go out to Celeste's family. Even just talking about these things is really sickening. I can't fathom the grief that they are going through, genuinely. Anyway, as things develop, I will definitely be here to talk about it, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, have a good one. Cheers.